It's a big day in Pakistan Super League as we enjoy another thrilling double-header. And it all begins with Quetta Gladiators taking on the Hyderabad Kingsmen. Quetta Gladiators come into this one looking to bounce back after a disappointing start, falling short in their opening match. This just changes everything now for Quetta Gladiators. With a squad full of experience and firepower, they'll be determined to get their campaign up and running in this crucial game. But they're up against Hyderabad Kingsmen side, also searching for their first win. The new franchise showed glimpses of promise in their debut, but ultimately came away empty-handed, and now they'll be hungry to turn things around.
And misery expands for Hyderabad Kingsmen.
So under the afternoon sun, both teams have a point to prove. Who gets off the mark? Who takes the early momentum? It's the first game of today's doubleheader. Quetta Gladiators versus Hyderabad Kingsmen. And it starts right now.
We've seen all 8 teams in action. The competition is split. 4 winners, 4 losers. It means the pressure is on early for our opening match of the day. Quetta Gladiators and Hyderabad Kingsmen have arrived at Gaddafi Stadium, both desperate to get their first points on the board. For Hyderabad, their first victory in the history of the franchise. It is match 5 of the HBL PSL live from Lahore. The Quetta Gladiators, last year's runner-ups against Hyderabad Kingsmen. Hello and welcome to our live coverage of Match 5. I'm Nerily Meadows and I'm joined by Uruj Mumtaz for the first time in studio, and Dominic Cork returns as well. Great to have both of your company. Of course, it's a double header tonight, Ruji. We've got Shaheen Shah Afridi, the reigning champions. They've won 3 of the last 4. They demolished the Kingsmen in their opening game up against the Karachi Kings, led by David Warner, 2 international superstars. How's it going to go?
I think there's going to be fireworks. Just feel that Karachi of 10 seasons have had teams which haven't quite looked champion sides. I think for the first time they've done the auction right. They've picked massive names. They've got the balance right. It just looks like it's going to be a cracker of a match tonight. And
it's not just captains going head-to-head, but that opening over, you've got the opening batter in David Warner up against Shaheen Shah Afridi and his left arm pace. It's a battle to get you really excited.
24 wickets in his opening over for Shaheen Shah Afridi. He's one of the best early on, but David Warner looked in decent form in that first game. He's led his side to victory. So 2 teams, it's a massive derby. We've done Pakistan Super League for so long now. It is just talked about all around Pakistan. Will it be Lahore? Will it be the Qalandars? Will it be the Kings? You can't go anywhere, and that is our second game. Brilliant.
And for those who are just wondering, head-to-head in T20s, it is Shaheen Shah Afridi who's got him 2 times in 5 encounters, an average of 15. But first, we need to focus on the Kingsmen, the new men in the competition, up against the Quetta Gladiators, who of course finished top of the table last year, but then went down to Lahore in that final. You don't want to go none from 2 in the opening of such a big tournament when there's only 10 games to be played.
Yeah, we keep saying it's just the start, but you're absolutely right. It happened to Islamabad as well last year. They won 5 on the bounce and they couldn't get back when it mattered the most. So you're absolutely right. You don't want to get left behind. Just the thing with Kingsmen is that they need to sort out quite a lot. They went down in all departments. Yes, it was the first game. New faces, fresh captain, obviously a fresh new side, but they do have some really good names. On the other hand, Saud Shakil and his men look probably the better of the 2, albeit both teams looking for first 2 points.
Quetta had an amazing start in the power play, 75 for none, and then just fell away from there. What should the main focus be for them, do you think?
Well, I think just doing the basics a little bit better. We talk about once you get momentum in this game, it's easy to be wrestled away, and don't rest on your laurels. Even if you get off to a good start, you've got to keep going, especially on these surfaces as well. Looks like we're still using the surface, which was great yesterday, pitch number 6. They've just got to go out there and believe whether they're setting or chasing, because I think that is going to be their main suit with the bowling unit, not as strong as it was last year, but I just think go out there and just demand that they get to big totals.
Yeah, just on that, Corky makes a valid point because their opening stand was 79 of 43 between Shamil and Saud up front. But what happened after? They got bits and bobs of partnerships, not really anyone carrying them through. And the deficit at the end of it was just 14 runs, which could have come in runs because they had Hassan Nawaz in there, Naf in there, Riley in there, just for those big names to come to the party.
From Hyderabad's perspective, Corky, they were crushed by the defending champions. Tough to come up against such a well-oiled machine in your opening match, but all out for 130, conceded 199. How do you approach it if you're the overseas coach and captain of Marnus Labuschagne and Dizzy Gillespie to not get overwrought by such poor performance to start?
No, obviously not a lot of experience as a captain in the T20 arena in Marnus Labuschagne. I don't think that really showed too much that day. But it's all about just doing that. I go back to the basics. It's easy to say just do the basics. Think about where they need to be, who they're going to look to, push up the order. Are they going to change the team? But the basics are the basics. When you're bowling, just trying to stop the boundaries, and when you're batting, the top players. Labuschagne has to be that player to go out there, strike rate, and go out there and command his position as captain.
We'll take a look at the points table because, of course, we've had all 8 teams in action, and it is Lahore, the defending champions, who got off to an absolute flyer. A 69-run victory over today's contenders in Hyderabad. Right down the bottom there, you can see in 8th place after a real blow to the net run rate early in the competition. Quetta Gladiators, look, we don't expect them to stay in the bottom half of the table for too long, considering that they finished top last year. We need to rehash a little bit of yesterday's action, though, Corky, because it was a wonderful run chase here in Lahore, a record in T20 cricket here in Lahore, and it was 2 of the superstars in Mohammad Rizwan and Babar Azam going head-to-head. In the end, it was Babar Azam's men who got across the line.
Yeah, I'm sure at halfway point he was disappointed conceding 214. Had only been chased down 3 times before, so it would have had to be a record chase, and it was. It was a brilliant start, brilliant opening stand. That's what he would have wanted. A lot of noise talked about Babar and his form going into it. He just looked sublime as normal. But that run chase, I just thought it was just so well choreographed. The way that they went about it, they didn't panic. They didn't think, right, we just got to keep slogging. Babar in this form, I don't care who talks about him and who says he's not in form. When he's in this form, he's very hard to stop. And that partnership in the middle, Bracewell was part of that, and Abdul Samad. It really, Rawalpindi's obviously a new franchise, had nothing to come back at. So an excellent run chase, great wicket to play T20 on.
Interesting to hear from their head coach at the midway point, Justin Kemp, with Jess Crowe, just saying, we think we're about 10 runs short. He was absolutely spot on. So even with an impressive total of 214 on the board, not quite. Great to see Babar Azam say, I want to open, and then delivering, getting off to a decent start as well. But Daryl Mitchell as well was incredibly handy.
Yeah, I mean, in all of that game, you look at all the big guns, the experienced campaigners.
I apologise, Michael
Bracewell
was who I was talking about, sorry.
64-run partnership with Abdul Samad towards the end, and more importantly, just like Corky said, they choreographed that chase because the run rate did fall a bit, as you expect normally in that middle phase. At one point, the asking rate went far too above, but then they kept chipping off on the boundaries. And it was probably the first time a record chase of over 200 has been chased down without a single player scoring 50 or more, which is so crucial that bits of partnership in sort of the winning cause and multiples of those can actually get you big runs.
And then last night you were working on the Multan Sultans getting off to a winning start up against Islamabad by 5 wickets. What stood out for you in that one?
For me, Momin Qamar was fantastic. The young left-arm wrist spinner picking up 3 wickets. Spoke to Ashton Turner at the toss. He was obviously keen to just get on with it. And once you're a new captain or a new franchise, you're still looking at a few players because you don't really quite know of them. What impressed me thoroughly was, in particular, the wicket to Shadab. It had already been taken for 15 by Chapman from the other end. Was brave enough to toss it up in the wrong one and picked up Shadab. So 3 important wickets, but it was how he spoke to me at the post-match presentation. A lot of confidence, was very, very assured in his thought process and felt like he was at home. And I think that's a big win.
We were watching it, having a cup of tapal tea, weren't we, back at the hotel. What I was impressed with was just the way that how he just made it look really easy.
Correct.
I spoke to the two geniuses the other day and talked about the up-and-coming bowlers, spin bowlers coming through. They would have absolutely loved to watch him bowling that, obviously that different delivery. It was absolutely great to watch.
Just 19 years of age. We've already seen a couple of incredible performances from debutants. It's great to see at the HBL PSL. Of course, there's a lot of Aussies in the Sultans as well.
Right.
Steve Smith, a handy start. Then Josh Philippi, 55 off 35. And of course, Ashton Turner as well. The most successful captain and player in the history of the Big Bash. He's translating that so far here in the PSL.
And it had to be. It's probably why they've picked him as captain. 3 titles for the first Scorchers out of the 5 wins that they've had. As captain as well, played his part in that partnership with Philippe. But it was important for someone up top to continue on when Ashton Turner came in. Because again, similar to the Zalmis, at one point they also looked like they fell behind the 8 ball in terms of the asking rate. But they kept chipping off on the boundaries and just felt Shadab and his men probably didn't bowl in the perfect areas as well, dropped a few deliveries quite short, and it just was pretty much too much. I mean, Ashton at the end was quite significant in that partnership.
Fingers crossed we get some of that sort of action in today's doubleheader. A little bit cooler here in stunning Lahore. It is a beautiful part of the world. Had the opportunity to get out and see some of the sights last year in the Champions Trophy. It is a wonderful part of the world. Live action not far away as we count down to our doubleheader here at the PSL. Welcome back to match 5 of the HBL PSL. We're going to get stuck into the Quetta Gladiators, last year's runners-up against the newcomers, the Hyderabad Kingsmen. Uruj, you've got the superb power play from that opening match. Of course, the opener of Shamil Hussain and the captain of Saud Shakil, 2 very different batters, but the debutant was simply wonderful.
Yeah, Shamil was brilliant. One of those prospects you talk about, like Samir Minhas, you talk about Shamil Hussain, you talk about Mas Sadakat as well. There's some of those really good names in terms of Corky touched on doing the fundamentals right, or the basics right. They're very, very strong in that. And what I like is that confidence. About being assured in their own attributes, and he dovetailed beautifully with his skipper in Saud Shakil. He struck it at more than 150 in that partnership, in fact 216 with 5 4s and 4 6s. So I thought that opening partnership is brilliant. And Corky, I mean, take us away with this. I mean, strong base, keeps himself in that imaginary box, plays the ball close to his body and not afraid to take the big shots on.
Yeah, and what that shows is just look at the back leg. It just slightly collapses. That's what batters like to do now, collapse that back leg, but also the weight coming forward. So it's like taking the weight forward but and getting underneath it with that collapsed leg. He's a sensational young player coming through, and he just shows that, you know, if you've got that raw talent and you've got something to work with, they can be very, very good players.
Tactical question. Sayem Ayub, could you use him to open the
Yes,
bowling, given that
absolutely.
these 2 guys
100%.
are so good against pace?
I knew the answer before you even finished, yes. And especially here, because we've seen that pace on this surface is not easy, because if you don't swing it or you haven't got raw pace, then you're going to be in trouble. So I just think take a bit of pace off and just try and make it a bit difficult at the left-hander, spin it away.
A lovely opportunity for Sayem Ayub to get into the game as well, given that he's not batting at his best at the moment.
100%. Seen him through the Asia Cup. In fact, the last 6 months, he's almost become a mainstay with the new ball in the T20 version for Pakistan. Lost his pace towards the back end of that World Cup, but you're absolutely right. I mean, he's so effective with that ball. He's got a great carom ball as well, and he's really tight in line with the stump. So just change it up. Don't forget, by default, openers like the ball coming onto the bat, especially Saud Shakil and Shamil. So it'll be a great tactical error. Error. Move. Sorry.
We're with you. All right, we need to head into the Quetta camp now because Jess Crow caught up with Ben McDermott.
Well, beside me here today is Ben McDermott. Ben, obviously not the way you would have wanted the first match to have gone, but there's so many positive takeaways. What do they look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long tournament, so yeah, 9 matches to go to try and get ourselves into a final. So there's plenty of learnings for us. It was nice to get a look at the wicket. It was obviously quite low, and it's going to be a lot different today as well. I think it's going to help our spinners during the day. It might spin a little bit more, so we'll see what happens.
Of course, and coming in at 6 yourself, scoring quickly, what were those takeaways of your personal performance?
Well, yeah, it was obviously a little bit of a tough situation to come in on, but yeah, I mean, it was nice to sort of get some runs on the board and you know, get flowing. So it's nice to, yeah, good to start, but hopefully we can get going in the middle there and have a little bit less to chase. That'd be nice, but if not, then hopefully I can do my job.
And what's the team been like as a whole? Tell us more about that dressing room up there.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. There's a lot of characters, a lot of pranksters. So yeah, I've really enjoyed the guys so far, and it's a long tournament, so it's going to be good fun throughout the tournament.
I feel like you need to expand a bit there. Who are the biggest personalities?
Abra's a bit of a prankster. Obviously, spent a lot of time with the overseas crew as well. So yeah, a lot of characters, and I'm sure we're going to get out some more personalities throughout this tournament.
Great stuff. And talk to me about Shaquille as captain. What's he been like so far? What's his approach for the second match today?
Yeah, obviously we want to probably hold our catches. That was probably a talking point for us. We dropped, I think, 4. So yeah, sharpen up in the field, and I think hopefully we can sort of get that total down towards around 150, 160. That'd be a nice score for us to chase, I think.
And as you say, still early days, still so much to play for. What's your personal plan of attack today?
Score as many runs as I can as quickly as possible. That's pretty much it.
Great stuff. Well, thank you very much. All the best for you and the team.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Played only one game last year with Karachi, first ball duck, so very nice for him to have 25 not out off 13 in his opening game. We look forward to him today. Quetta last year, a great strength of theirs was their pace attack. Very different attack this year. How do you think they're going to go?
Yeah, all of them gone. Amir, Wasim Jr., Khurram Shahzad, Jameson gone. So I think that is that factor which sets up the game. And they've also lost Akil Hussain, who could have bowled spin with the new ball. So I just feel they've got the 2 mainstay spinners, but they really got to bowl well. That pace attack with Alzari, Joseph and Ahmed Danial. Ahmed Danial was good in the other game. So just hit that back of the lens, just keep the stumps in play, change it up if you need to, because like Corky said, if it's the same surface, it looked a really good track in the day game yesterday.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to be talking about the Hyderabad Kingsmen shortly. But as we head to the break, we want to take a close look at the National Cricket Academy. Beautiful scenes, the library and museum. So many places to explore here in stunning Lahore. Welcome back to our coverage of the HBL PSL Match 5. It is the Quetta Gladiators taking on the Hyderabad Kingsmen. Both teams chasing their first win of this edition. For the Kingsmen, they're chasing their first ever victory as we welcome Amir Sahel and Martin Guptill. Amir all out for 130. They conceded 199 against the reigning champions Lahore. How do they turn it around after such a comprehensive loss?
I think they have to sort out their combination. You know, we have seen in this edition of HBL PSL, fast bowlers have really struggled. If your fast bowlers aren't working and not bringing anything on the table, they have to look towards the spinner. Mahesh Tikshana is there. Maybe use him with a new ball along with Saim Ayub, and then bowl any fast bowler in the middle overs. It might work for them. And as a batting unit, if Ma Sadakat comes in, that'll strengthen their batting lineup. And I think all they need to do is think about playing 20 overs in a proper manner. You can't expect the captain to come out, Labuschagne, to come out and blast his way to 50, quick fire 50 or 60 runs. So what he needs to do is play other players around him, keep on guiding them how to go about the job. He's got the experience, he's got the know-how. If he is able to assert himself and you know, kind of bring any impression on his team, they'll start to do well. They've got players there to actually win the games for them. 26
off 22 in the first game for Marnus Labuschagne. As Amir suggested, he's not a big hitting T20 player. He doesn't have a heap of experience in this form of the game, particularly recently. As a batter yourself, top order batter, what would you like to see from him in his approach?
I'd just like to see him carry on the way he did the other day. He had a really nice start. But what stunted him was the constant wickets at the other end. You know, he couldn't expand from there. He had to sort of try and hold the innings together. So if he can get somebody going with him and somebody with a high strike rate, that somebody can get going and get a bit of the rhythm into the partnership, that's when he will be able to find those bigger shots, hit more gaps, hit the boundaries. And then from there, when the partnership goes like that, the team score then accelerates quite quickly and you haven't even taken a risk. You know, it just sort of happens naturally. And, you know, that goes, if he's in or out, next guy's got to come in and do the same sort of thing. not get out straight away, make sure that they can utilise those 20 overs because they sold themselves short that last game.
Hassan Khan up against his old team, Quetta. He was impressive in the opening match. What do you want to see from him here today? Particularly, he's so important through those middle overs.
I don't want him to change anything. You know, he's one of the very few spinners we have seen so far in this HBL PSL who looks to give a bit of air to the ball. He's not afraid to toss the ball up to the batsman. And that's why, for me, he was very impressive. And I just want to add one thing. Hassan, he's an able batsman, but he looked out of sorts. And that's where the captain has to come in and show his influence, and especially with Saim Ayub. When you talk about Saim Ayub, he has this false confidence that he could actually hit the ball, every ball out of the park. So with Labuschagne there, and if he could influence and tell him that playing 20 over is going to be mighty important for his side. And if Saim even plays for 10 overs, he'll change the game for his side. So I think that's where Labuschagne has to step in and make a difference.
Well, let's head inside the camp now and hear from Riley Meredith, with Jess Crow.
That's right, I'm joined here by Riley Meredith. Riley, coming back from a loss last match, but of course picking up those 2 wickets yourself. What are your takeaways from your performance?
Yeah, it was obviously a little bit disappointing to lose, but yeah, I thought we bowled pretty well as a team, really. Just couldn't quite, get the job done in the end. Obviously, batting couldn't quite string a few partnerships together, but yeah, it's all good. That's the first game of the season, so looking forward to getting back out there today.
Of course, and speaking on the rest of that bowling department then, how confident are you in them restricting and defending those totals?
Yeah, really good. We've got some really nice bowlers there. Obviously, a lot of options. Saw a lot of spin used last game. I probably would have thought there'd be a fair bit today as well. So, yeah, it was, I think, good for the blowout yesterday, a few days ago. And, yeah, the boys are keen to get out there.
Excellent. And now having Marnus Labuschagne as captain then, someone with very minimal T20 captaining experience, what's it been like playing under him so far?
Yeah, he's good. He's got such a good read of the game. Even though he hasn't played, a heap of T20 cricket, as opposed to some of the guys over here, he's played a lot of cricket. So, it's all the same really. But as I said, he reads the game really well, knows what he's doing, and he keeps it really clear.
And now taking the new ball yourself, bowling in the power play. Of course, pitches are fresh. The seam's pronounced still. Are there any adaptations that you make in those early stages of the matches?
Always try and be a little bit more aggressive first couple of overs. Try and get the ball to swing a little bit, hit the stumps a bit more, and then obviously, as we saw the other night, when it wears off a bit, drag the length back and try and be a bit more defensive. But yeah, definitely try and take wickets early. Now
you've spent a bit of time with the team so far here in Pakistan. What's it been like for you?
Yeah, it's great. All the guys are a really friendly bunch. Get around each other. They were dancing and singing up all night last night, so hopefully they got a little bit of energy left. But yeah, it's been good. Everyone's lovely over here, so it's nice.
Great stuff. Hopefully we can see some of that dancing and singing on the pitch today. Well, thank you very much. All the best to you and the team.
Cheers, thanks. Appreciate it.
Riley Meredith, always a very relaxed character. He'll be better for the run, no doubt about it. Just on Marnus as an overseas captain and an overseas coach with Jason Gillespie, how challenging can it be overseas?
Oh, hugely. You're in foreign conditions, place you don't know particularly well, but with how much cricket is being played around the world, the ability to adapt to any sort of condition, and Amir will know, having travelled the world playing himself, the adaptation piece becomes pretty critical. And Marnus is such a good player that he'll be fine. Like I have no qualms about him, moving forward in this tournament and scoring a lot of runs.
Well, let's check in with him, shall we? He's out there ready in the middle, Marnus Labuschagne. His second game in charge here of the Hyderabad Kingsmen up against the Quetta Gladiators, last year's runner-ups.
The sun continues to beam down at the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore as we welcome you to the exchange on Golden Coin Toss, match number 5, the HBL PSL 11. All men in readiness, Quetta Gladiators versus the Hyderabad Kingsmen, Bilal Khilji to oversee proceedings. Coin toss rep Mohammad Usman, coin over to home captain tonight, Saud Shakil. Away you go.
Tails.
Tails is the call. It's come down in favor of the Gladiators. Saud, both teams looking for a win. पहले ये बताएं क्या करेंगे और क्यों?
आज हम पहले बैटिंग करने का सोचा इस पिच पे.
कल के मैच का कुछ उससे हो सकता है कि पिच को प्योरली देखकर ये डिसाइड कर दिए मैच के लिए.
बिल्कुल हम कल का मैच भी थोड़ा सा मद्देनज़र रखा था, लेकिन ये कि नया दिन है और रात थोड़ी बारिश भी हुई है, लेकिन पिच बहुत अच्छे लग रहा है। हो सकता है सेकंड इनिंग में थोड़ा स्लोअर साइड पे जाए, तो अच्छा टोटल लगा के इनको रिस्ट्रिक्ट करेंगे सेकंड इनिंग में फिर।
पहले मैच की अगर आप बात करें कि बहुत सारे पॉजिटिव्स की थे, खास करके आपकी ओपनिंग पार्टनरशिप शामिल के साथ, कहाँ लगता है चूक गई क्योंकि सिर्फ 14 रन का डेफिसिट रहा था उस गेम में?
थोड़ा सा अगर ओवरऑल देखें तो उतना हम अपनी बेस्ट क्रिकेट नहीं खेले थे लास्ट मैच में, तो कोशिश करेंगे वो जो गलतियाँ हुई उसको रिपीट ना करें, और अगर आपके पास एक बार मोमेंटम आता है तो कोशिश करेंगे कि उसको कैरी करें।
फर्स्ट इनिंग्स का स्कोर बताना अक्सर मुश्किल होता है, बट एक बॉल पार्क फिगर दे सकते हैं?
जिस तरह का पिच लग रहा है मेरे ख्याल में हम ज़रूर 200 टारगेट करेंगे।
और आज की टीम?
सेम टीम।
Same team. All right then. So good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Same team for Saud. Manas, is your team the same as well?
No,
Remember
few
the changes?
changes. Yes, I do. We've got Mars coming in and Tichana also coming in for Rizwan and Pereira.
Well done on that. Toss, would you have batted first as well?
Yeah.
All right. In terms of your first game, it just felt like an overall sort of all three facets not going your way. What's been the discussion like to bounce back for those 2 points?
I think it's the first time we've come together as a team, so I think for us it's making sure we're learning each game, and there's been also 3 other games since our last game, so there's a lot of information and using all that to our advantage as we come into this game.
And as captain, enjoying the responsibility and feeling the pressure, or is it taking one day at a time?
Nah, the pressure's part and parcel of playing any game of cricket, so you get used to that, and then loving the opportunity and being able to get to know the team and see their skill sets, and hopefully as this tournament goes on we can really see all those skill sets come to life.
All right then, good luck for those 2 points this
Thank you
afternoon.
very much.
All right then, the news from the centre is that Quetta Gladiators have won the toss and will have a bat.
Thank you very much, Uruj Mumtaz. So Sword Shakil, wins the toss for Quetta. They will bat first, and an opportunity for you to pick up that coin from the toss of the coin exchange on app. Make sure you log in, register. What an opportunity there, and what an opportunity for Mahesh Dikshana. Gets his opportunity here. I could say opportunity one more time here, Amir Sahel. You already mentioned it.
It's an ideal situation for him. This pitch was used yesterday. 2 matches were played, and there'll be something for the spinners. I believe that, and he should be happy to get this gig, and he should be able to influence the game as well.
He's going to be really important potentially, given that we're going to be using some of the same pitches with only 2 venues this PSL as well.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, his ability to be able to swing the new ball, to be able to spin it, to be able to get it to stop on the surface becomes really crucial, especially in those front 6 overs, where team can get off to a flyer. So if he can do that for his team, stop the flow of runs, he will be an influential player.
All right, let's check in with some of our conditions, shall we? It is back to Jess Crow and Dominic Cork.
Well, it's another absolutely gorgeous day here in Lahore today. We've got beautiful, clear blue skies. The sun is shining. It doesn't get much better than this, does it? We see highs of 29 degrees, lows of 19 today, and there was a little bit of a storm around last night, so humidity is at an all-time high for this year's PSL, sitting on that 38% mark, so we should be on for an absolute scorcher of a match here today. But with more information about this surface, Dominic Cork joins me.
Still on pitch number 6, which was an absolute belter to bat on yesterday. We saw the record chase, 214 chase down yesterday, and it looks an absolute belter again. As Jess said, it's a beautiful sunny day, so the big boundary once again is towards the leg side and over the back of the camera here, and the shorter side is here, 64 metres this side and 72 metres that side. The breeze has slightly changed. There's a bit more breeze around, and the flags are coming now, so it's helping the bowlers to maybe, I say maybe, defend this end. Somebody's going to bowl. Come on, Tom. Don't worry about that batting. Come on, let me ask you a question. Difficult day for bowlers on this surface. Mentally, how do you go around that?
Yeah, well, I think we've got to assess the conditions quickly. Obviously, we're batting first, so we do get a chance to have a look at, I guess, what their bowlers do and what's working on the surface. But yeah, I think the plans will be pretty simple to start with, and then, like I said, adapt on the day according to what the wicket's like.
Good luck. Thanks. I'm not going to ask anything else. Good luck. But you can just see it's going to be difficult. This man here is going to try and smack it from the front. That's what he's going to try and do when he comes in. They're going to try and set them something they can't chase. But this looks an absolute road. It's going to be beautiful all day. Double header, remember. Don't go anywhere. You don't need to go anywhere. Don't go out of your house. There's going to be 8 hours of solid T20 cricket coming your way. Season 11, HBL Pakistan Super League.
Dare I say, always opportunistic is Dominic Cork. He's got us all fired up, and a quick chat with a player as well in Tom Curran. Marnus Labuschagne, we spoke about it a little bit earlier. He gets the opportunity right off the bat in order to deploy his bowlers in the best way possible. What did you learn from that opening game when they conceded 199?
It just looked like they didn't really have a plan B. You know, things started to go a little bit awry for them early on. You know, the Calanders got off to a flying start and they just couldn't peg them back. So they need to find a way to be able to, you know, just pull it back a few dot balls here and there when they get under that pressure. You know, whether that's just changing the field, using a few, you know, tactics like bluffing, that sort of thing. You know, if they can do that, if they can just create a little bit of doubt in the batter's mind, you know, it's only going to help them out.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a look at the 11s after this short break. Both of these teams chasing their first win in HBL PSL Edition 11. Welcome back to our coverage. News here from Lahore is that the 2019 champions, the Quetta Gladiators, have won the toss and decided to bat first. Martin Guptill is going to chat us through their unchanged 11.
Yeah, Quetta going in with the same 11 from the previous game. Don't think they needed to do too many changes, but Saul Shakil and Shamal Hussain, who was very impressive in the first game with 54 off 20 balls. Khawaja Nafay, Riley Russo, there's possibility that he may go up or down the order. Hassan Nawaz, Ben McDermott was impressive with the bat. Tom Curran, Hamid Daniel, Alzari Joseph, who bowled with some fire, and the spin twins of Abra Ahmed and Usman Tariq.
And then we take a look at Hyderabad Kingsmen. A couple of changes. Interestingly to note, no Kusal Pereira, player of the final last year for Lahore, but only 150 and 22 innings since, so he's been struggling.
There is a certain number of overseas players you could actually play in a game in this PSL. So Mahesh Takshana is replacing his countryman, and then Mas Sadakat comes in for Muhammad Ali, who went for plenty of runs in his first outing. You know, if you look at the squad, they bat deep till number 8. Ahmad Azam is there for them. And then they have 7 bowling options and well suited to this surface. So I hope, and I do have a belief, they're going to do well, Hyderabad, in this game.
Well, Martin Guptill, it's time for our expert advice. You have played a lot in the HBL PSL. We are 4 matches in. What have you noticed so far from the conditions here at Gaddafi Stadium from a batting perspective, particularly early?
Yeah, with the new ball in the front 6 overs, there has been some really, really fast starts. And after that, when there has been a wicket through the middle, it looks a little difficult to actually get going and get that high strike rate from the start. So if there is that one big partnership to start things, or they get it through the middle, the onus is on the player coming in to then try and get themselves going early, create another partnership, because those back-to-back-to-back wickets are what's stunting teams' progress in those middle overs.
The reason why we haven't seen batsmen excelling in the middle overs, especially against the spinners, we haven't seen any batsmen actually jumping out of the crease. They're reluctant to use their feet. If they're able to, if they're encouraged to use their feet, I think that lull period is going to turn into something very exciting against the spinners.
Taking a look at our key battle with Quetta batting first. Riley Rousseau, we want to see the very best from him. He loves it here in the PSL. Up against Sam Ayub in particular, 2 times in 3 he's got him, an average of just 3. So we chatted earlier about Sam Ayub potentially opening the batting, but in that power play in particular, he's got a pretty decent record.
Yeah, he does very well, isn't he? And he's only really started doing it in the last sort of 2 or 3 years. So, you know, he's really excelled at it over the last couple of years. And you see the strike rate of only 60 against him for Riley Rousseau. He'll want to improve on that massively today. But look, at the end of the day, what happened in the past doesn't matter. It's all about how he adapts and goes about his business today.
We spoke about it earlier, but the pressure on such a young man in AU, but to perform when he signed as the biggest local that we've seen in the PSL, how much can it impact a young man?
I think one thing as a professional, you should be encouraged that your value has increased. And then you G yourself up, okay, I'm the highest paid and I have to tell the world why. What are the reasons for that?
And does it help if he's getting into the action from a bowling perspective early? Could that translate to a big performance batting?
It's a great help. Look, you know, if as a batsman you're bowling first and you're able to perform well, that confidence you can actually take with your batting. And I think if you're an all-rounder, I think you have so many areas where you could actually contribute towards the win of the side.
What are your thoughts on what Riley Rousseau should be doing here today to make sure that he gets the very best out of himself?
I think he needs to back himself. He's an aggressive player. Play with that aggressive intent, and that's not necessarily trying to hit every ball for six, but hitting the ball nice and hard along the ground, because when he did that last year, when he got that big 100, he did that from the start. He hit hard shots along the ground, and then he was able to pick up the big shots later on.
Head to head, who do these conditions favour? And you've got so much experience on Quetta's side. Last year's finalist, a former champion, up against the newcomers.
I think they should actually tilt towards Hyderabad because they've got plenty of spinners in their lineup. And I personally think, although there was just a shower on this pitch, and I think Curator had plenty of time to get it well rolled in, but I think there'll be some grip for the spinners.
It's warm, but it's windy.
Yeah, it's actually quite pleasant, isn't it? Not like yesterday, it was a bit warm. But for me, I think Quetta's slightly more settled. I think they've got, you know, the core of their players back from last year, and I think that's going to suit them really well today up against a very inexperienced team togetherness in Hyderabad. So for me, Quetta's probably going to take it out today.
And what are you most looking forward to?
A lot of sixes, hopefully. Everybody wants to see that. We've come here, T20 cricket, lots of sixes, big hits, and, you know, just some excitement.
You, Amir?
Boundaries instead of sixes, because sixes has been downfall of Pakistan's cricket. If they score their runs maneuvering the length, that'll be very good for Pakistan's international cricket.
I always love your passion. Don't go anywhere. It's a double-header day in the HBL PSL. We have the Quetta Gladiators up against the newcomers. It is Hyderabad Kingsmen led by Marnus Labuschagne. Live action coming up.